The mother, who's a flamboyant California biker with an affinity for who bravely raises her little son Rocky.
You probably think you know this story already. The disfigured boy, the wild biker mom, the tear-jerking 80s movie, Cher in leather, defying the world. But what if the movie only told half of it? What if the real woman behind the legend, the real Rusty Dennis, had things to say before she died that complicated everything? Today we're talking about Roy Lee, Rocky Dennis, and his mother, Florence Rusty Tullis, the truth behind the film mask, and the parts Hollywood softened, shifted, or left out entirely. Rocky was born on December 4, 1961, in Glendora, California. As a toddler, he seemed like any other kid, sickly, prone to infections, but nothing extraordinary. Then doctors discovered something far worse: craniodiaphyseal dysplasia, an unimaginably rare bone disorder that caused calcium to build up in his skull, thickening the bones, distorting his face, and compressing his brain. At the time, only a handful of cases had ever been recorded. Doctors told Rusty her son would likely be blind, cognitively impaired, and dead before his 7th birthday. 7. That was the timeline. Rusty didn't accept it. She didn't retreat into grief or surrender to prognosis charts. She believed, fiercely, that people could will themselves toward wellness. She raised Rocky with that philosophy. When he had headaches, she would tell him to go to his room and make yourself well. To some, that sounds harsh. To her, it was empowerment. She refused to let schools push him aside. When administrators tried to move him into special education, she fought back. When doctors doubted his intelligence, she dismissed them. And Rocky proved them wrong, earning honors, tutoring classmates, becoming known not for his face but for his humor and warmth. But Rusty herself was nothing like the sanitized, inspirational mom archetype. Born in Brooklyn in 1936, she was rebellious early, expelled from school, running with motorcycle gangs, dancing at Coney Island before she was old enough to drive. She was loud, sharp, unapologetic. She partied hard and admitted it. The movie hinted at chaos. The real woman owned it. She was a member of a biker group called the Turks, and those bikers became Rocky's extended family. The character played by Cher captured some of her grit, but Rusty later called the film a fairy tale. Not because it was cruel, but because it was polished. When Mask hit theaters in 1985, directed by Peter Bogdanovich and starring Cher and Eric Stoltz, it grossed over $48 million. Rusty received $15,000 for the rights to her son's story. $15,000. Most of it went to medical bills for her older son, Joshua, who was battling AIDS. That part never made the movie. Joshua didn't appear at all. One son's story was sold to try to save another. Rusty didn't resent Cher. In fact, she praised her performance. But she admitted she hadn't expected the spotlight to land on her too. She thought it would be Rocky's story alone. Instead, she became a character, a leather-jacketed anti-heroine, when she had only ever seen herself as a mother doing what she had to do. She also bristled at the details. Rocky had loved Bruce Springsteen, but the studio replaced his music with tracks by Bob Seger after failing to secure rights. Rusty said bluntly, "I don't think he even knew who Bob Seger was." It was a small change, but to her, it meant something. And then there's the hardest part. By 1978, Rocky was 16, nearly 10 years beyond his expected lifespan. His health had deteriorated. The headaches were relentless. One evening after dinner, he came home in pain. Rusty told him what she had always told him: "Go to your room and make yourself well." The next morning, he didn't wake up. He died in his sleep on October 3, 1978. The movie shows her finding him. In reality, she was at her lawyer's office dealing with a drug charge when she got the call. Life, as always, was messier than cinema. After Rocky's death, Rusty moved to San Francisco, embraced Buddhism, and worked with addicts and the terminally ill. She lost Joshua in 1987. 2 sons gone. Yet she insisted she didn't believe in death, only in another place to go. In 2006, at 70 years old, she died following a motorcycle accident. Even her ending was kinetic, defiant, in motion. So what's the legacy? Rocky lived 16 full years with a condition meant to erase him before he could read. He refused surgery that might have altered his appearance, once asking, "Who would I see in the mirror if I changed my face?" He chose himself. And Rusty, flawed, fierce, unconventional, gave him that defiance. She was not the PTA Mother of the Year. She was something rarer, exactly the mother he needed. The truth isn't tidy. It isn't cinematic. It's rough around the edges, full of contradictions. But maybe that's the point. The legend was inspiring. The reality was human. And sometimes, that's far more powerful.